peak of production of the summer, when the honey flow is on, bees only live 5 or 6 weeks because they literally work themselves to death making honey in the summer. Alright, so today we're going to be extracting honey. The bees have been making their honey all summer, so it's time. We pulled it all yesterday, and today we're going to do the extraction. I've been keeping bees for probably a little over 20 years. The main thing that got me started was when my wife started making homemade bread, and she used a lot of honey making the bread. So when I was a child, my grandfather always kept bees, so I thought it was somewhat nostalgic to have bees. So we were using a lot of honey, and I was interested and had been exposed to it as a kid, and we decided to get bees and start producing our own honey. When I was a kid, I was scared to death of bees, so I would see him when he would go out and work them, or when he was, taking the honey off the hive and we were cutting it up for processing. Then yeah, it was great then, but I didn't go anywhere near the bees when I was a kid. I'm not scared of them. I just have a healthy respect for them. I'm slightly allergic. If I get stung in a blood vessel or something, I'll swell up a little bit more than average, but nothing too major. I do keep an EpiPen with me. Our frames up here, that's a nice capped frame of honey. I'll take this heated knife and we'll cut these cappings off of it. So as we cut these wax cappings off that the bees have capped the honey with, they drop down into this uncapping tank, and down in the bottom is a screen. And the screen catches the wax and will let the honey drip through, and then we can drain the honey out of the bottom of the tank once it comes out of the cappings. And this is a radial extractor, and it'll do 9 frames at a time. So I run 9 frames in a honey super, so it'll hold the entire honey super in one load. And once it spins out, it runs out the gate, goes through our strainer to get out the pieces of bees and hunks of wax, and goes in our buckets that we sort in. Then whenever we're ready to bottle the honey, we dump the buckets back here in this honey tank. It's a double-walled heated tank, and that's what we bottle the honey out of that tank into. I think I keep them just because they're so fascinating, and it's amazing to watch them work and to open a hive up and see the whole colony come together and how they make honey, and it's a great product that people really enjoy, and I like producing the honey. I think the most interesting thing is how in the peak of production of the summer, when the honey flow is on, the fact that most people don't realize bees only live 5 or 6 weeks because they literally work themselves to death making honey in the summer. And the fact that to replace all those bees, you have a queen laying 1,000 to 1,500 eggs a day just to produce the bees to keep up with a strong hive. Keeping bees is definitely important because bees are a key part of our food production in this country. Without bees pollinating all of the crops that we eat, then we would be hurting for food production without them. And I think anybody can keep a couple hives in their backyard just for pollinating in their own garden and stuff. It's definitely a benefit to have them around. I think if you want to start beekeeping, there's with the internet, there is so many resources online, from YouTube videos to all the information that you want to read from the beekeeping supply companies. And I think that's a great source, but I think the best source is to find a local club in your area, which almost every area has a local group, and get involved there with beekeepers. And most of them have a mentorship program so that you can get paired with another beekeeper and learn the ropes. And there's just tons of organizations and state groups that can help you get started and teach you everything you need to know. We do sell honey here at the farm, and then we do a few local shows or festivals that throughout the year we do those and sell honey. And then we have a couple shops here local that stock our honey to resell it. Good stuff.